Welcome back, friends. Today's video is going to be about the first steps in trying to color correct our under eyes. So there are many options when you're considering color correcting the pigmentation under the eyes, but today we are talking about using your color correcting Seint shade to tackle it first. If that doesn't work, then we have other measures we can try. But today we're going to discuss how our color corrector can really help us with all of those pigmentation issues that we have under the eye. So stay tuned and we'll get started. The beauty of color correctors is usually the warmth in the shades. So mango is one that I recommend probably to 80% of my customers. If you are darker in skin, I would probably recommend papaya. If you are very, very fair, I would probably recommend amber, but the majority of my customers get mango, and that is because of its warmth. So when you're using mango as a color corrector, people will put it on first and they will say, oh my God, this does not match my skin. It looks too orange on my skin. And that is actually the point, because you're going to layer over it. When you need coverage, we have to do a layer of color corrector first and then top it with our main shade. But these color correctors, especially mango, are amazing for myself. I use it for redness in my skin, melasma, sunspots, but also very, very good at neutralizing the skin under the eyes. So as we know, our under eyes could be pink, they could be blue, green, and sometimes brown. And I always tell my customers to start with the color correcting shade I've matched them to first. And if that's not working, then we can go into demi. But to always just start with your color corrector like mango. So I'm going to show you today how we do that. So I have my face all on. I don't usually put the whole thing on first, but that's okay. I realize I do not have a lot of pigmentation under my eyes. But I'm going to show you, like, even if I did, I still have pinkness. I have all this pink and red tones under here. You can see, and you can see I am a little dark under there. But when I lift my face, it's not as bad because I have brightener on already. Okay, so we're going to try to address this area and even out into here. You can see I have some redness out here with mango and show you the proper way to do it. So as always with Seint, less is best. I'm going to take mango and I'm using my blend brush, the small end. If you only have this brush and you do not have a smaller brush, you can use your finger for this. Just remember, less is best. So I'm tapping in and I'm going to just lightly tap right here where I have some of that darkness, just to neutralize, and the red and the pinkness for me. And that's just going to neutralize those colors. And here is always very dark for all of us, so make sure you hit that. So you can already see the difference between my two eyes, how this one has the more red pinky tones to it, and this one is already neutralized. So I'm going to do the same on this side. And I have very little product on my brush for one, but I also am tapping very, very lightly. The skin under the eyes is obviously challenging because we have a lot of fine lines, wrinkles. Some of us have milia, which are those tiny little beaded pieces that just give texture under there. Some people have larger bags. We have folds, all kinds of things, because our eyes are the first area of our face to show aging, because it is where we are most expressive. And that just can't be helped. So we want the least amount of product under the eyes as possible. So you just lightly tap in like that. Then I'm going to take my perfecting sponge and I'm just going to press in. This will pull off. If I've gotten too much under there, this will help pull it off. And I'm lightly tapping that. So for me and the color that I am right now, I could just do the mango and let it ride. But if you are lighter, and like how I will be in a few months, it would look too orangey there. So I will take a dab of my brightener And I'm gonna take a dab of my main shade right now, and I'm just gonna run it under there. Again, super, super light, super, super light. We are not trying to make this area brighter, we're just trying to make it match. And then we will again go back in here and press. So if you have problems with your under eye creasing, this Corrector sponge is amazing. It's also good for people like me. I have to put a base layer of mango pretty much all over my face because of all of my redness and my melasma. And then I have to put my main shade, I have to press it in over. So for me to make sure that I am not putting on too much and that I get the very natural finish that I want, I always press and use my perfecting sponge just because it'll pull off any excess. So this is really key to those areas under the eyes that have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles and folds and texture and all of the beautiful things that have shown how much life we have lived. So the perfecting sponge is one of the great tools for under the eyes as well as your color corrector. So then that's all that I really have to do. I could take my could take my powder and tap into some vanilla dust and then lightly, and I mean ever so lightly, press it in. And then it would be set for the day so that it doesn't slide. Before you do the setting of the under eye area, make sure there are 0 creases. If there is a crease and then you set it, you have the crease all day. So press it out if you find a crease and then set it. I want you to try it without setting it at all with any powder. Try that one time. And if you don't have any issues, then don't set it. If you have issues where you feel like the coverage is not staying and looking like it did when you first started, or if it's shifting in any way, then set it. But by setting it, I mean very, very lightly. The least amount of powder we can have on our face, the more natural of a finish we are going to get, especially for those of us who are no longer 21, because our skin is textured and has all the things, and we don't need to be adding a ton of powders to accentuate those. So that is the first step in getting coverage under your eyes. Like I said, if your color correcting shade is not working for you, the very first thing you should do is reach out to me and we can troubleshoot and just make sure you're using it in all the ways that you should be. And then if we have kind of worked through the color corrector and it's still not giving you the color coverage that you need, we can begin to talk about demi. Or we can talk about demi if you are a person who isn't wearing 3D foundation and you're just looking for something to color correct under your eyes and you don't want to wear base and all of those things, then you would not want to use just mango. We would put you right into demi. So I hope that helped you. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next week.